and your spiritual until it's Set It Off Saturday as we begin to move in the greatest version of ourselves. We are going to we're going to begin today with just giving honor and thanks and praises for another opportunity to come before you. Thank it Haps TV for this opportunity, for this platform. Download the apps, not the apps, the Haps TV app. It is a free app, and you can support this broadcast and other broadcasts as well as create your own. We're all about creating in this space, in this place. So, welcome into this satisfying Saturday, this sanctified Saturday, this set it apart Saturday, this set you up Saturday. As we begin to move into the greatest version of ourselves, there is no time to waste. This is the present moment, this is the present space, and this is your present time to operate, to create, to motivate, to participate in the greatest version of yourself. We've gone so long being a version of someone else. I even tell my kids, you do not need a role model because the moment that you choose a role model, you begin to become that person. And when you begin to try to become that person, then you lose yourself. And once you lose yourself, a spirit of depression, a spirit of stress comes on you because you get lost. So at this point, at this space, and at this time, we are going to focus on loving ourselves, on being ourselves, on creating things within ourselves, being conscious, being motivated, and spiritually in tune to the things and the tools that God gave you before you was in the womb, before you were in the matrix. And we must remember we were not put here to learn, but we were placed here to remember everything that's in us. You must understand that your soul is old. It's been here before. It just was not transformed in this particular body, but it was transformed in this space. So those times that you say, I've been here before, you probably have, your soul has. But now your soul is returning you to the scene of the crime. It is your opportunity in this time to listen to your spirit so that everything that your soul is purposed for can be fulfilled. Your soul gets its widest expression in a physical body. And so, as the soul is released, once the transition is made, it is free to roam the earth. Isn't that, man, isn't that something? And so, as we open our minds, as we open the places and spaces that have been closed down and locked down because of tradition and conditioning, and we open up our ability to be creative, to be respondent to the things that God has released in our lives, and then we can come to a place and a space of understanding who we are, why we're here, what we're here to do, and begin to do something totally great. And so as we begin to do that, then we can understand what our purpose is. We begin to motivate and find ourselves in the greatest version. Now, something happened to my music. So let's see what we can do here. But while we're getting ready to move forward in the greatest version of ourselves, I want you to find a place and a space that you can just listen to what the Spirit is saying to us on this day, in this space, in this place. And let's begin to just take a moment to breathe, okay? So I want you to take your breath from the bottom of your base of your spine, from your root chakra, and take it all the way to the top, to your crown chakra. These are energy places in your body. We are energy. And so we must connect with the energy that's in our body so that we can reproduce the greatest version of ourselves. So just take some time to clear your mind. You've been through a lot. There's a lot going on. And so now you must clear your mind in order that you can define and find who you really are. So just close your eyes for a moment and just listen to the music in the background. Forget about what happened this week. Forget about what happened yesterday. Forget about what happened in the last 5 minutes. As you begin to do that, you center yourself. You reconnect to your heart mind. You reconnect to your heart and your ear within your heart so that you can hear what the Spirit is saying to you, the church not made by hand. So let's take that breath, a deep breath. Your midsection should expand. And as you take in the breath, you begin to energize yourself. As you release the breath, you begin to rest and be not stressed by anything. Let's go. When you make the noise, as you allow the air to be ejected, it causes you to hear the sound of your stress being relieved. So let's try that again. Breathe in. You can feel all the muscles in your body just releasing and beginning to relax. Let's try it one more time. Breathe in. Hold it. Release it. Now this time I'm not going to talk because I'm going to allow you to focus on what you're doing and feel all the muscles from the top of your head to your sole of your feet being released as you exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And when you exhale, you release the air all the way out and all the way down. So when you release the air all the way down to your feet is where you're grounding. You're grounding yourself, you're balancing yourself, and you're preparing yourself for the next situation. You're preparing yourself for the next incident, for the next challenge. Once you do this, I'm real keen on meditating. There is no particular form. Sure, people have all their ways in which they meditate. What you must do as a creator is create your way of meditation that is most beneficial to you. Now, all of us need meditation. God said meditate day and night. I think he meant that from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same. But I also think he was referring to spiritually, in my spirit, meditate day when things are going good, and meditate night when things are not going as you would will for them to go. So as long as you maintain meditation, you're going to maintain balance, you're going to maintain strength, you're going to maintain energy, you're going to maintain everything that you need in order to go forth in this. So now I will, for everyone that is listening, we're in the midst of a lot. And it is very imperative that you take care of yourself in every aspect, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, in every area. It is not being selfish. It is preparing yourself. Even the Bible tells the shepherds to feed themselves first and then the sheep. If you're on a plane and they tell you there's a reason that you have to put on oxygen, if you have small children and older people with you, put the mask on you first and then mask up the small ones and the older ones. Why? Because you need to be energized up in order to assist. So a lot of us think it's being selfish when we take care of ourselves. Self-care is the best care. And it also shows that you love you. Now, you can't love anybody else till you love you. So once you plant love into you, once you sow love into you, then you can reap it out to others. You can give it out to others because God gives seed to the sower. Now, if you're not going to sow energy, then you can't reap it. So he gives seed to the sower. That means you need to be in a position to give it out because you're a gift. And what good is a gift if it can't be given? Right? All right. So today we're going to talk about the internal mind versus the external mind. Now, when we begin to talk about this, I want to kind of give you a physical definition of internal. Internal is of or situated on the inside or the inner parts are featured. Let's say that again. Internal is of or situated on the inside of our inner parts of our features. Okay? So that means we're working from the inside out. Now, external means belonging to or forming outer structures of something outside of you. Now, the main point that this world chooses for you is an external mind. The external mind is a mind that is being learned of a particular way to form your life. It's a duplication, it's an illusion, it is not authentic, it is not for your benefit, it is to condition you. Woo. Y'all better get this. It's your outer environment. It calls you out of the house, out of your memory, into a learning position that somebody else has designed for your life. Oh my God. And most of us, I bet you 99.9% of us are living our lives from an external way of being because we've been introduced to that. We've been conditioned to that. And we have left our internal mind. Now, let's talk about the internal mind. The internal mind, I told you, you have a heart mind and a head mind. The internal mind is your heart mind. Now, you would think that your head mind is internal, but your heart mind is internal. Your head mind is most influenced by the external. I know you don't believe that, but yes, because of the gates, the eye gates, the ear gates, the nose gate, the mouth gate, all of those are influences on the head mind. And it is governing, if you have not been introduced, if you're ignorant to um, the heart mind, then you have no way of knowing that. And if you don't know it, then you're going to follow what you know. So what I'd like to do today is introduce to you to going back to your internal mind, because your internal mind is going to have faith, truth, power, energy. It's going to give you direction, the proper direction, so that you come away from trial and error. It's going to cause you to focus on your position, your purpose, and your destiny. So that's cool, man, to be in the internal mind. I mean, the internal mind has so much listen to this, internal information. It is inward forming. It is inward forming. Remember, education comes from the inside out, not the outside in. I know they told you going to school to get an education or you're going to college to get an education, but that is not true. Your education comes from the inside. You're a genius. You know everything. I know you don't want to, in your spirit, you know everything. Your spirit is perfect. There is no trial and error in your spirit. So you know everything. They just want you to think that you don't know anything and that you have to learn something and you're really not getting nothing. I can't say that no more. But that's good in the neighborhood. So when we pay attention, focus, and be mindful of our internal being, that's why I'm a pusher when it comes to meditation, because meditation brings you out of your external mind, takes you into your internal mind, and begins to connect you to the definite energy source and foundation of who you are. You are a creator. You create on a moment to moment basis and you don't even know it, because you are who you are and you cannot be anything else other than who you are. You can try, and remember I said try means planning to fail. You can try to be something else, but your internal mind is going to take you in, because remember, we work from within, so we're not without. And so we're being learned to work on the outside and bring it in. But the word became flesh. So that means the inside is the word. It got into a fleshable suit and began to have an experience and a journey in this place, in this space, in this dimension. But when you try to take your flesh and make it the word, it doesn't fit. Because your internal, this is good. Your internal is infinite, unlimited, forever being, never cut off. And so your external is not infinite. It has a beginning and an ending date. Your spirit does not. And so it says, walk in the spirit so you don't fulfill the lust of the flesh. The lust means it's just temporary. Oh my God. If we just listen to what we're saying, we would get full closure of what it is and who we are and where we're going and why we are going there. If we just listening from the inside out, not the outside in, because your influence, most of your influence is on the outside. And so most of us were learned to go to church once a week, maybe twice, with Bible study, and the rest of the week you're living externally. You're going to like the church to get a fill up, and then you're going outside for the rest of the days and you're emptying out. Now you could empty out everything that you got filled up on the first day, depending on what your mileage is in your mind. You'll get that next week going down I-85 or 285. But we must focus and pay attention to the internal mind. The internal mind knows all truth. The internal mind is going to guide you and lead you as you offer your steps and your ways unto the Lord. He will, not he might, he will direct your path. So a lot of us are going down paths we're not being directed to because we are external and not internal. And so when we practice internal beings, then we begin to remember who we are. I mean, not on this who gave you your name, know who you are, but who designed and created you from the inside out. And in that realm, we begin to operate. That's when we become absent from the body is present with the Lord. I'm not talking about physically leaving this earth. I am talking about spiritually taking a journey in your meditation, in your prayer, in your quiet time, whatever you call it, as long as you call it, and you begin to meditate on how you operate in the power, in the anointing, in the energy, in the chi, in the prana, in the kundalini, in the chakras. They're all the same. It's the spirit, the power of God. There's only one true power, and that's the power of God. I mean, true power. You might have some other powers running around here, but they're not the true power. And the truth is always connected to the spirit, and it doesn't matter who says it, doesn't matter who believes it, doesn't matter who doesn't like it. It still remains the truth. You can't change it. You can't alter it. It just means it is steadfast and unmovable. And that's the light and that's the power of God that we operate in on a daily basis. If you would just sit down and think about all that your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, your situation, your operation, everything in the universe is going all at one time. And you're operating in that space. And that's why they want to duplicate us. They want to duplicate this power that they can't decide, or they can't name, or they can't see, or they can't scientifically adjust to. They want to duplicate that. And so we must stay focused and know that we can't be duplicated. We are originals, and originals cannot be duplicated. They can be copied, but the copy is never as accurate as the original. So that's why we have no need to compete. There's no competition. We are originals from the inside out. And so why do you think on the outside we duplicate what we see? On the inside, you don't duplicate it, you create it. Now that's good in the neighborhood. And so when we focus and find and define who we really are, our highest version of ourselves, our highest consciousness, our highest energy level, and we begin to go forth on those things, we maintain a spirit of excellence. We maintain a spirit of strength. We maintain a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And we annihilate fear, doubt, selfishness, resentment. Woo. Man, I hope y'all getting this. Because right here, the here and now, we are right here in this space and this place of an internal mind. The internal is full of unknowns, but once you walk in it, it becomes known to you. And once you know a thing, you can't unknow it. See? Well, on this satisfying Saturday, I just gave you a nuggets. And as we move forward, this is not a time for you to give up. This is not a time for you to seek suicide. If you're thinking about suicide right now, I'm going to say this in every message I ever speak from the rest of my life. If you're thinking that suicide is your answer, let me explain something to you. Now, I got this revelation today, speaking with my daughter about, we wasn't even talking about nothing, but we were talking about something. If your soul is an old soul, and the soul that the body that it rode in prior to you committed suicide, the soul returns back and dwells in you to make sure that you don't duplicate that same mistake that was duplicated prior to that. See, the only reason that most people commit suicide is because they don't think there's a way out. And they think that suicide is the way out. Well, if you're thinking about that, your soul will return again to get it right, to let you know and to advise you that there are other ways that you can handle your problems. You need to talk to somebody. You need to tell somebody you're hurting. You need to be able to talk to yourself. Those are just some tools you can use. But do not, suicide is silence. Do not allow yourself to remain silent from external stuff that you have carried over. Suicide is based on external stuff. It's stuff that's happening, or it's stuff that's done happen, or it's something that you're anticipating to happen. But what you must do is tell yourself you're worth this journey. If you have to go by yourself, you are worthy, you are loved, and you have a purpose and a destiny. And suicide is not either one of those. There's always a greater answer than that. And so I'm motivated with that, because the message that I did on suicide has gotten more views than anything I've ever done. So I know people are dealing with that, but it's silent. You don't tell anybody that, because church already told you, if you kill yourself, you can't be forgiven. Now, I don't know that to be true, because I never tried to kill myself, so I don't know. But what I am telling you the solution is, I don't know what a person does at their last breath and their last conversation with God. I don't know what happens in that moment. And so we've got to stop judging people and telling people certain stuff that we don't really know for ourselves. But what we do know is the good news. What we do know is that there's always, oh yeah, there's always, and God provides it, not people, but God always provides you a way of escape, and that's not suicide, because you never escape from that. Whew. This is so good in the neighborhood. And so when you refer to your internal mind and your external mind, remember your internal mind is eternal. Remember your external mind has a beginning and an ending date. And so you want to operate in the internal and the eternal and not the external. And so a mind of eternity and eternity means you'll always have life. Life everlasting. You'll never die. You'll just transition to another dimension of life. And so now we're about 25 minutes in. I hope this has been a blessing to you. If you're just joining, please go back and look at the replay because there is some very important information that we can all use for our everyday life. We can only live one, my grandmama used to say, one day at a time, baby. We can only actually live one moment at a time because things are steadily changing, and they're changing so fast, we're not able to adjust because it's just like a boxer in a ring. The jabs are becoming so quick, it's hard to miss all of them. And so we have to stay meditated. We have to stay prayed up. We have to stay focused. We have to stay in conversation with God. We have to stay in conversation with ourselves, encouraging ourselves in the Lord. We have to maintain an internal mind. Remember, heart, mind first. Then your head, mind can be cleared to make a decision. You cannot make a decision here only. You have to have the connection of the heart. The heart has the truth, the faith, the voice of God. The head has fear, doubt, selfishness, and resentment. So if you make that choice from here only, the results are going to be something different. So maintaining an internal mind is going to allow you to get your widest expression of this body, this human experience. You're a spirit, and you're having a human experience to have your widest expression. See, if we focus on our purpose and the reason that we hear from our internal and stop focusing on the why is this happening and why is this happening, if we focus on the solution, the resolution, then we're always going to come out on top. We may not come on top how we think we're going to come on top, but all things, not some things, I said all things are working together for your good God, or for your God that is good. However you want to see it, as long as you see it from the inner eye. In the external mind, we're only operating from the physical eye. But in the internal mind, we're going with the single vision. This is double vision. This is single vision. You know why I know it's double vision? Because everybody doesn't have 20/20. Something like me, I don't have 20/20. That's why I wear glasses and contacts and reading glasses and all of that. Because that's a double vision. And listen, this is a sidebar, and we're going to close out. When I wear my contacts, one of my contacts is a stronger amount than the other. And so if I put in the lesser amount first, my vision is still not clear. But when I put in the one that has the most power in it, I can see clearly now. Now, if I take out the one with the less vision, I can still see clearly because the one with the most power in it is still in the eye. Now, see, that's a revelation. That's good in the neighborhood. Y'all need to get that. And so that's what the eternal mind does. It gives you the full power to give you a clear vision of what your next step is. Come on here. Well, this is Michelle. I'm your motivator, spiritual evolutionist. Listen, I hope and pray that this word has been a tool to bring you out and in, bring you out of the external and back into the internal, so that your sight is a single vision and it is clear. Yes. Well, we've been created by the Creator to be creative, so start creating your creations and stop duplicating. May the love, joy, peace, power, and sound-mindedness be your soul food today on this satisfying Saturday. I pray that you are relaxing and enjoying your family. Remember, don't forget to tell the loved ones, your friends, everyone that you love them, because in the time that we're living in, People are rapturing up out of here in a hurry before you can blink. You can talk with somebody 1 hour and they're gone the next hour. So don't waste your time on arguments. I always say no fussing, just discussing. Don't waste it on arguments. Nobody ever got a solution on an argument because nobody listens. Nobody listens in an argument. You want to get your point across, and I want to get my point across, and I want you to hear my point, and you want me to hear your point, and it ends up that nothing is pointed out that needs to be corrected. Okay? So be blessed.